Howdy folks, and welcome to Ramp Castle. I'm diving through every map in Ramp 2025, and today sends me over the ramparts, atop parapets and through dank keeps as I take on the medieval zone of Ramp 2025. This area has a healthy 19 maps to dig into. I don't rate these maps by quality because Ramp is a project which is supposed to be inclusive of newcomers and veterans alike. Rather, I'll give these maps a difficulty rating and a style, which is just an indication of what kind of experience the map offers, whether that be classic, vanilla, or something more bespoke and experimental. These scores are of course my interpretation, and I'm no authority on the matter. If these playthroughs appeal to you, consider subscribing to get updated when I complete and upload the videos for the remaining areas. Map of the first is Dark Palace of Waterfalls. This is a work in progress or demo by Omitaurus, and this was an absolute treat of a map to start my journey on. Out the gate we enter atop a plinth over a beautifully custom pentagram, and are treated to the transfixing backing track of Crystal Teardrops by Michiru Yamane. This haunting theme follows you through the map as you explore an absolutely inspirationally complex and beautiful cave system. You're treated to an awesome skybox, which features a gargantuan gargoyle statue, and are also treated to custom sprites throughout the experience. This cave offers no monsters. The reason revealed at the end is that the author ran out of time, but honestly I think this was enhanced by the absence of dangers, as it allows you to fully explore and appreciate all the incredible natural landscaping and intricate architecture throughout. Seriously, I cannot overstate just how awe-inspiringly beautiful this map is, and fully recommend to everyone to check this one out for yourselves. The enormity of this place really sets in as you scale the first section of this map, weaving in and around and under a waterfall which has its own environmental sound and custom misty sprites at the base. You come up then to the entryway of the palace itself, where you're sent to investigate the first of 3 wings to find a switch which clears up the water, allowing you access to the second wing. This has you navigate through these crumbling aqueducts in hunt for the final switch, and this map is one of the very rare cases where I'm actually glad there's no shortcut back, so you get to experience the architecture and layout a second time as you return to the central chamber. The third and final wing sends you up a meandering, spiralling stairwell and gives you occasional glimpses outside which really hammer home just how small and insignificant you are compared to the enormity of the place. It makes you wonder who made this underground kingdom and where its inhabitants are now. The map ends at the top of these stairs, where you get some commentary from the author, who casually mentions that this is one of his first ever maps somehow. A fact which boggles my mind, as it's environmentally one of the most impressive things I've seen. Seriously, play this one for yourselves folks. 1 out of 10 for difficulty, and this goes in the Art or Showcase category. Next on the offerings is Twiland by Silverminer. This quirky map starts you off at the edge of a small island and has you battle your way towards and through a central ruined keep structure. There's only 16 monsters in this map, and overall you won't feel too threatened as you explore the region. Twiland has you hunt for a couple of keys throughout this complex, and has done some nice work with the light levels around the interior areas where the keys reside. The highlight for this map has to be the very peculiar music choice by way of Bad Dream by Wincar. This disjointed, syncopated tune is really off-putting and unsettling, and is interspersed with sound effects like someone gasping or the flaming death scream sound effect from Doom. With this droning on in the background, you feel positively put out of place as you proceed on your hunt. Nonetheless, you soon find the blue key and are able to escape the map. Definitely a curious little level. Difficulty is 2 out of 10, and this stuck to classic elements. Map 3 is Thy Dead Consumed by Sharb, which reminds you again of the game Blood as you start by emerging from a crypt and getting your bearings in this starter mausoleum/crematorium basement. We're then sent to the central chamber of this keep, and interestingly are immediately given a view of the exit area, as well as its guardians. Not yet equipped for the challenge though, we head instead through the other wings of the keep on a hunt for equipment. This sends us through a variety of nicely decorated, quite spacious chambers as we hunt for keys which unlock more and more equipment. The threats throughout the map are plentiful and varied, however you're always given lots of space to maneuver, which means you'll rarely feel in too much danger overall. The map makes good use of stony textures, and I appreciate the frozen parapets you come across in the upper areas. Sharb even included a frozen death effect for if you fall off the edge to the ice field below, which was a nice touch. After defending yourself from the worst this keep has to offer, you find yourself back in the main chamber where you can arm yourself with the equipment behind the blue door, and then head out to the arena to prove yourself worthy against the Cyberdemon. This map's generous amount of space made it fairly cruisy to adventure through at about a 3 out of 10 for difficulty, and it made use of some UDMF mapping elements. The fourth map in the lineup is Endless Stair by Kribbulous, which starts us out topside as we dive in through a hole to breach this subterranean keep. Immediately we see some wonderful dynamic light work, a theme which continues throughout this offering. Kribbulous showcases some inspired and captivating architecture choices and feeds you into large chambers which feel designed to give you a sense of enormity. The use of a combination of set actor roll and sloped sectors makes this fantastically trippy staircase, which slides you out onto what you soon discover is the ceiling of the previous chamber you were in. The effect is enhanced with the addition of some upside down cacodemon variants, which float to the top when killed, which was a nice touch. The final half of this map is a mixture of more large impressive chambers with beautiful light play, and ends you up with a journey down a stone stairwell amidst a rocket canyon, the floors of which sink you in somewhat, before expelling you out right back where you began. Difficulty was a 3 out of 10. I think the focus of this map was more on the architecture and design than the monster layout, which is why I think I'll also categorise this as a showcase map. Wizard Proof of Concept, open parentheses, it's 10 minutes I swear, close parentheses, by NootsyNootsy, looks like it would be an interesting but deadly slaughter map variant. However, unfortunately the map wasn't working properly for me. Even after loading up the latest snapshot 1410 of Ramp, it appears there's some pickups or items which are supposed to be present that didn't import properly into the project. I'm guessing these would be powerful weapon variants or something to help you fend off the hordes of monsters. However, since the items weren't available, I was stuck with the pistol against a waterfall of Hell Knights and Imps, and I wasn't able to progress. Perhaps this will get tweaked and fixed in a later version of Ramp, however, I'll have to cede defeat with this one for now. If it gets patched in the future, I'll try this one out again. We break into Flipscarab Manor now by XProFlipScarab. The author starts us off by letting us know they were drawn into mapping recently by myhouse.wad and David X. Newton's breakdown videos. So it's great to see more people getting inspired and joining in. Flipscarab Manor is a nicely designed map which has you navigate through the various rooms of this building, fending off demonic hordes as you go. The monsters come at you from within the house and outside the windows, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled at all angles as you navigate through. The author's made good, clean texture choices and has added some nice details to the rooms without going overboard. It makes use of dynamic lighting to enhance the room's look and feel. By the time you make it to the second level of the manor, you're armed with a super shotgun and will begin seeing more and more mid-tier monsters. However, at no point do you feel like you're being overwhelmed with what the map has to offer. After grabbing the blue key, you're able to head through to the basement halls before being deposited outside the manor where you can make your escape. A nice one overall. 3 out of 10 for difficulty and UDMF in style. Next on the list is Making Bodies Hurt, a map by Rando Dusty. I playtested an early version of this map, so I was interested to see if there had been any changes to Making Bodies Hurt. This map starts you off in a darkened cave system and gives you a chainsaw to fend off lost souls while you hunt for skull switches to open up the next area, which then spills you out into a cliff edge where we get a nice elevated view of an enormous keep. We make our way down through the cliffside caves and then are sent along the exterior of this keep to hunt for 4 switches in these supply-filled storage buildings. Each of these add waves of revenants, imps, hell knights and demons at you, so prepare for a battle when you activate them. I remember this outside area being far more sparse in my earlier playthrough with less threats, and I'm pretty sure no trees to contend with. The addition of the dangers and the obstacles through this area really made this section of the map more heart rate raising than before. Once we've visited all 4 buildings, we can navigate back to the first corner where a blue key has descended, and we can then break into the interior of this keep through the waterway. You're given a plasma rifle and then sent up onto the parapets where you can make a satisfyingly run-and-gun action, downing the plethora of imps who have been making your life difficult, before leaping off to the second side of the main keep. Break into the cathedral here and you can assassinate the spider mastermind within and claim the red key, an item which grants you access to the exit back atop the cliffside. There's still a few dangers to contend with up here, and I found myself getting awful low on ammo by the end, to the point where I ended up avoiding the last 2 archviles by making a desperate break for the exit. 5 out of 10 difficulty for this one, and classic in style. We slow down a little next with RadicalRedhead's In Darkness, which opens you up skulking through the hallways of some keep or castle. The lighting work in here was done beautifully, especially the use of light textures to imitate sunlit glass, and the use of sloped sectors and lower line depth lighting to have the light spill up the walls in this hallway. We're given a taster of demonic threat by way of a pinky, some imps, and then some zombies and a mancubus, before getting the key that sends us into a library area to grab a yellow key. This releases a Hell Knight and some floating menaces, which can be intercepted by grabbing the chain gun from the body of a zombie commando. We then head to the other area of the map and reluctantly interrupt a revenant from their internet browsing before battling past an archvile to freedom. A small but fun offering from RadicalRedhead, 3 out of 10 difficulty, and UDMF mapping elements are used in this one. Neil Forshaw gives us a story-driven role-playing experience with their map, Wound of the World. We start by making our way into this enormous ruined keep with the goal of unravelling a curse which apparently has afflicted our bloodline for centuries. To do this, we have to seal a fiery scar in the earth by performing some ritual. However, when we do, something unexpected occurs, and we're sent back through time to a wonderfully atmospheric, raining environment. I'd love to know how the rain effect was done here, because I've had trouble getting a good convincing rain effect in my maps before. We witness a dark ritual taking place, and then are given a crossbow to fend off against a small demonic threat, before being cast back to the future, where we get a glimpse of an inaccessible yellow key, and then navigating down to another portal to the past. In the past castle, we have to fight off an onslaught of demons and cultists before we can blow up the wall of the key enclosure, an action which has a ripple effect, changing the future world and allowing you to grab the key back there. Finally, we enter the central area of this keep in the past, where demons have gathered to perform some dark rite, and this is where the demo ends for us. A really interesting narrative-driven map. I appreciate the time travel puzzle elements. 3 out of 10 for difficulty. This map had some custom elements to it. Mordie the Felifox's Umbral Citadel was up next. I playtested an early version of this map and found it really nice and atmospheric, but pretty punishing on the ammo availability towards the end. We start like many of these castle-themed maps in an outdoor environment where we navigate along a channel fending off demon ambushes before the Citadel is revealed to us. Sneaking in through a side entrance, we clear out the courtyard before ascending a tower to raise the portcullis. We battle across the parapets of this Citadel's walls, where we abscond with a red key before heading into the building proper. The second half of this map has us battling through these enigmatic Gothic chambers. A dungeon filled with caged revenants proves to be a challenging arena, and we quickly learn that every key we pick up is worthy of punishment by demons. The ammunition offering was much more generous in this half of the map than my earlier playthrough, and I found that I was well equipped to take on the final encounter in the chapel, before leaving through the demonic portal to lands unknown. 6 out of 10 difficulty for this map, and it used UDMF elements. Next up is a very peculiar map by Grizzly Old B. This map is accompanied by a very chill set of beats, as we open up with an intro message that speaks of a previous delivery. Perhaps this is a continuation of an earlier ramp offering? Regardless, we're apparently stuck in a central lift, and that becomes abundantly clear as we descend slowly down. The map has only one monster and one secret in it, and the vast majority of this level is us heading deeper and deeper, watching each of these black rails slowly disappear. After a couple of minutes, the lift finally reaches a destination and you're allowed to head out to this stone-walled corridor, which only holds a toilet and a single imp who's very upset you disturb its session. We kill the poor bastard, then after looking through the toilet, head back to the lift and descend further still. I'm not sure if this had some deeper meaning or reference that I'm not privy to, but this is the entirety of the map. It was certainly a very relaxing experience, but I can't help but feel like I'm missing some context to this. Perhaps more will be revealed in Ramp 2026. Difficulty is 1 out of 10. I'm not really sure how to classify this one, so I'll tentatively sit it in the Art Showcase category. Next we open up to the Elemental Gallery by Michael Maris, aka Edrobot, who starts us off with imps and revenants already angry at us and firing, so we have to get moving. You can find a super shotgun down by the moat, so it's recommended to grab this nice and early because an archvile wants some words with you down there. After clearing out the exterior of this map, we're sent into the keep to fight off a large offering of high tier monsters, including a cyber demon, and then are presented with a multitude of doors to explore. You'll realise the chambers beyond each door is representative of an element. The first door represents water, as we're forced to push upstream while we battle several marines who are not afraid to spam plasma shots at you. Next, you unlock the earthen domain and are sent into a rocky cave weaving between revenant missiles, cyber demon rockets and lost souls to hunt down the yellow key. Third is the fire domain, with fiery imps and mancubi assaulting you as you navigate over a pool of lava. And finally is the air domain, represented by a truly trippy portal-lined room with floating cacodemons and a vicious spider mastermind in your way. Once all of these threats have been neutralized, you can exit through the final red skull door. An interesting concept for a map, 4 out of 10 difficulty, with UDMF elements used throughout. MrFeral presents us with a wonderfully custom experience with Heretic's Blood next. We start off with spiked gauntlets and are given a quick tutorial on the different attack types available to us before we're sent on a quest filled with wonderful custom enemies. There's only 53 monsters in this map total, but they're just about all custom and give off medieval cultist vibes. I think I broke the normal map progression by climbing up the first building, meaning I faced off against the first serious threat by way of a minotaur before picking up the flaming sword, which would have been really helpful in this fight. Nonetheless, I backtracked to clear the map out and was treated to this nice mine area complete with minecart and track before heading back up and activating an entrance to the keep proper. In here you're up against more custom monsters with sprites taken from mostly Heretic and Hexen, and get to witness some nice custom obstacles before the final encounter with a vampiric lord who could not withstand my gauntlet's onslaught. This was a fun change of pace and it would have been cool to see more of this. 5 out of 10 for difficulty and custom in style. Pall of Mott by Bradley Baker is next, which sends us into this nicely detailed hellish citadel made from primarily classic Doom textures. There's monsters aplenty right from the get-go, and you'll soon find yourself mowing down hordes of low to mid-tier demons with the chain gun as you hunt for keys. Through the red door, things become a little less linear, as we're given the option of several directions to explore. Bradley makes good use of different height levels to keep the encounters interesting throughout here. We're restricted to chain gun and shotgun for the first half of the map, before being granted a rocket launcher. However, the map is a little constrained, so using rockets felt a bit risky in a lot of areas. By the time you locate the yellow key, you'll also be upgraded to plasma rifle status, which keeps you well protected all throughout the remainder of the map until the last encounter in the courtyard versus Hellbarons and their minions. Clear out these last threats and you're free. 6 out of 10 difficulty for this one, and it felt like it stayed true to classic Doom. Next we have Antiquing by AG87. This hostile gothic themed keep gives you a choice of direction to start as you begin, each with their own weapon offering and equivalent dangers. I went the drop down route first, which gave me the super shotgun and launched arachnotrons and mancubi my way, accompanied by hit scanners, and later expanded the bestiary to Hell Knights and Revenants in nice well designed traps and arenas. The chambers ahead had smart monster placement and choices, which proved to be quite a challenge as every corner you turn threatens to turn into a fight for survival. After battling through, you're deposited in a central chamber where you can activate one of 2 switches, and then are sent back to do the other side. The blue key direction stuck me in an unholy cathedral type room and gave me the rocket launcher to fend off any threats. It then spilled hordes of imps and revenants out to clean up. The second chamber here tightened up a little bit when it began flooding the place with imps and zombies, making rocket launcher use particularly treacherous. Back in the central area, we're given the yellow key and are made to do one final push through hordes before letting us leave the place. The map was nicely designed with appropriate texture choices and really interesting room shapes and map flow. 7 out of 10 difficulty for this one, classic in style. Destitute AMN 431 presents us with Castle of the Damned next. We start in a torch-lit room with a nice indicator of a secret, and then are spilled out into this wide-spanning courtyard. We head inside to a dimly lit library corridor where low-level threats fall away to the blast of our shotgun, and grab the red keycard before heading back to the courtyard through the first side chamber. By this time we're equipped with a super shotgun, which is more than enough to handle a Hell Knight threat inside, and swipe the blue key before pivoting to the other side of the courtyard, where we have to take the red skull key. This lets us get into the final chamber and face off against the map's guardian, a cyber demon and its cronies. As soon as the beast falls away, the map boots you out. This was fairly cruisy and sat at about 3 out of 10 for difficulty, and made use of UDMF elements like dynamic lighting. Next up is DromSlottet II by Sharb82, which opens us up in this nicely detailed gothic feeling room with dark greys and blues being the main colour theme. The celestial skyscape outside really ties the mood altogether, and we pick up our shotgun, admire the entry room, and then head out into a truly beautifully designed corridor. The map's monster host starts with an archvile and soon ramps up as you come to realise that this map is not going to be a gentle, moody castle exploration after all, and by the time you get into the next and what you soon discover to be final room, you understand that this is a pure micro-slaughter map. Don't let go of that BFG trigger and let the cells fly, and you'll discover that this isn't as dangerous as you thought. One final switch sends some reanimating archviles through to the field of bodies, but after you take that threat out, you're free to leave. Short and sweet. I'm classing this as a slaughter map, although difficulty I'd put at about 6 out of 10 because it was fairly forgiving. Second last is Deprivation by Tharanak. This map starts you off in a canyon passage, and if you take a second look around, you'll find there's an easy secret with a couple of health potions that grant you 50 very generous hit points. You enter into the Citadel proper, which has a couple of main entryways, and start to think to yourself that this map isn't too bad despite its 540 monster count. And that's when the teleporter trap gets triggered and sends in demons. And sends in more demons. And more. This doesn't ever seem to stop, and you soon find out that this map is actually hellishly brutal. You're soon wading through monster corpses, struggling to push by the still living beasts to find any corner of safety to hide away in. But the pressure of this map keeps at about this level throughout pretty much the entire delivery from here on out. After downing 300 or so monsters, you find yourself at a corridor with an exit button, and that truly is a safe exit, and you can leave now if you wish. But there's a small matter of the last 200 monsters, and the yellow skull door which needs a key to be found. So you turn away, taking on the optional challenge. You may have regrets though, because a cyber demon arrives as well as a flood of high tier monsters at this second act, which is twice as devastating as the first. You battle through, holding out hope because you've seen cells around the map, and if you could just get your hands on a plasma rifle, this would all be so much more manageable. 8 out of 9 secrets in, and 40 minutes later you fire your last shells into the beaten and battered cyber demon and come to the sound of silence. Victory at last. But what about that last secret and the missing plasma rifle? Well, turns out it was right next to the entrance under the waterfall, of course. Figures. Difficulty 8 out of 10 for this one. It's pretty brutal. Classic style. The final offering in this area is Blood Bastion by KoboldDev. This is a wonderfully designed delivery and makes bold use of O-text to sell the gothic hellish keep in which it's set. The map is built around this central blood-filled courtyard hub and has you navigate the various wings of this keep to find keys to progress. Each key is guarded by a whole host of demons, though, and they're none too willing to give it up. After completing each wing, you're sent back to the middle, which further opens up to more threats, keeping the map fresh and hostile all the way throughout. KoboldDev makes sure you're well equipped to handle everything sent your way, and rarely do you feel like you're starved for ammunition or health supplies. The threats mount as you explore deeper and deeper, but the encounter design and map layout is constructed in such a way that you never feel like you have no place to defend yourself. This, coupled with a generous 11 secrets throughout, makes the map a pleasure to explore. Once all 3 wings are taken care of, the central platform is accessible and the way out is yours to pass through. 6 out of 10 difficulty, UDMF in style. And with that, we've plundered all the castles, explored every keep and cleared out every rampart as we finish our journey through the ramp castle themed maps. If you've stumbled on this video and are interested in playing these maps for yourself, I fully encourage you to download Ramp 2025 and see what some of the community has put together. Alternatively, you can check out my other videos covering the other ramp maps, with more to come out in the coming week or two. Thanks for watching.